Good morning, good afternoon, and good day. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at just some of the designs of benches that can be built in Mozaik. As you can see, I've currently got a church pew, a storage bench, a bar bench with removable upholstery panels, and a child's stool bench. In this video, we're going to take a look at the construction method to build the children's stool bench. We're going to start this process in a fresh room by loading in one of our products. I'm going to choose a two-door cabinet to load in. As many of you may know, I like to modify products rather than create from scratch. So I'm going to open up my product editor by double-clicking on the center of the image. And I'm going to start removing the parameters that I know I don't need. So for instance, I have a toe there, I have a back recess, and I have a top on there. I'm not going to want any of these, so I'm going to start by removing that. I'm going to start by bringing in my toe parameter, and I'm going to set that to 0. I'm then going to bring in my back recess, and I'm also going to set that to 0 to remove that for me. And lastly, for this product, we're just going to remove the top as well. Set that to none. And then we're going to go into my interior, into my face, and clear them both out. As you can see, I have now got an empty cabinet. I'm going to start by setting the heights and the depth of my stool. So I'm going to come in here. My stool is only going to be 300 high, and I'm going to give it a depth of 600 just to make sure it's nice and sturdy. I'm then going to go into my shape tab, and this is where we're going to create the shape of our stool. So for this design, I'm going to go into my side tab, and I'm going to edit my shape. As you can see, my cabinet is currently a rectangle. I'm going to change this so it looks more like the stool that we saw earlier. I can do this nice and easily by bringing in the shape that is here. I could have drawn this in by adding some tabs in by selecting here and then add a point, but instead I've used this preloaded shape that comes with Mozaik. I'm then going to round these corners off to remove any sharp edges. Once I've removed the sharp edges, I'm then going to bring the top of my design in to make it have a nice shape to it. I'm going to do this nice and easily by selecting this line. I'm going to add a point and change that to 120 in length. So you can see my point has now moved closer. I'm then going to add another point this side, select that gap that's there, and set that to 120 as well. By doing this, I can then remove these two edge points, and I know how far my design has come in. And now I'm ready. I can click OK. As you can see, Mozaik has tried to select some parts for me. I'm going to go through and make sure that these are the bits that I want them to be. I'm going to be adding a panel to both faces. So I'm going to change these both sides to a face. I'm also going to change my top to a face as well. I'm then going to click on everything else and make sure they are set to nothing. As you can see, I've now removed everything, but we have these radius supports going across. I'm not going to want these for my design, so I'm going to go into my parts and I'm going to turn all of these off just by simply selecting them and deleting them out of the process. There we have it. There's the two ends of my bench, and now I can start making my modifications. I'm going to come into my face too. So this is the first side, and I'm going to split this in half. I'm going to change my bottom to an open, and I'm going to change my top to a panel, and I'm also going to sit that in as well and inset that 20 millimeters in, like so. Once I've done that, I can also adjust the height. I only need this to be 60 millimeters. I'm then going to do exactly the same thing to the opposite face. Now for my top face, or the bench top, I would like the idea of having two panels here rather than one flat panel. I think it gives it a nice design, so I'm just going to go into my equal splitter. I only need two spaces, and I'm going to change these both to panel, and that's going to split that in two panels. I also like the idea of it overhanging on all edges, so I'm just going to select my panel, I'm going to adjust this, and I'm going to overhang it on the top, on the left, and on the right, like so. I'm then going to do the same thing to my other panel. On this one, we're going to need to go on the bottom, on the left, and on the right, like so. And there we have it. That's my child's bench all ready to go with my fixings and my panels pre-built, ready to be flat packed and screwed together.